Hi, and congratulations on your 2021 Nissan Kicks SV. This is a great little vehicle. It's amazing on gas, a lot of fun to drive, and they've added some really amazing features this year, so you've got a ton of gear with this for what you're getting. I know that you're going to love it. It's why you bought it, but let's have a look at the features so that we can review what you get with your new Kicks. We're going to start here at the infotainment system, where we've got a beautiful 8-inch touchscreen display here. Everything is easy to operate. We're going to start and have a look at our audio. So we've got AM, FM, satellite radio is free for the first 3 months. USB 1 and 2. So if I look down below, this is new this year. I've got a Type-C USB as well as my traditional USB. Either one of them will work. And it doesn't matter which type of phone that you have, because Apple's new phones now come with a Type-C connection on one end with the Lightning port on the other. We've also got Bluetooth. Now what we don't see here is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which it does come with. And once they're connected, they will show up here as well. So we're going to back out of here and we're going to go into our settings, because we want to talk about a few things here. One, to set your clock. You're just going to come in, set clock manually, and then everything is right here, easy to operate. All you do is hit the plus or minus for whatever you want to change. So when daylight savings changes everything, just come in and either hit the plus or minus on the hour. If we back out of here, I'm going to go into connections. This is where I want to go to add a phone. So to do this, I'm going to press add new here, and then on my phone, I'm going to go into the Bluetooth connections and I'm going to look for my Kicks. From there, once I tap on it, I'm going to wait for the message to pop up, confirm the number that shows on both the screen here and on the phone, and then I'm going to hit pair, and then I'm going to press allow on the iPhone. If it's an Android phone, you're going to allow twice. There will be 2 messages come up from there. Now also, if you have an Android phone and you have a lock screen, there is an additional step that you need to take. Once the phone is connected, you need to back out to the main settings screen, go down to lock screen, and then you're going to add a trusted device and you're going to add my Kicks. If you don't do this, you're not going to make it past your driveway before your vehicle disconnects your phone from you. So make sure that you go ahead and do that. We're going to back out here, and you can see there's a back button here and on the screen, making it very easy to do what you need to do. Down below here, we have our digital climate control. So what I recommend for most people is find a temperature that you are comfortable with. Press the auto button, and then you never have to worry about it. It's going to do what it has to get you either up or down to that temperature as fast as possible. And then it's going to do just what it has to maintain that temperature. Now with this one, our rear defrost will also activate heated side mirrors that you get with this as well. We've got our heated seats here, high, low, and off, making it very easy to operate. Now down below here, when we looked at our USB ports, there's also an electronic parking brake here that if I pull up, it engages, and it will show me on the screen up here as well. To disengage this, I can't simply push down, because otherwise this happens. So if I press in the brake and then push down, it does disengage that. Auto hold is a great little feature. You have to turn it on. Now, when it's turned on and you're buckled up in drive, you will get a white A that's going to show up on the screen. And I'm going to see if I can trigger this right now and buckle the seatbelt fairly quick here, so that we can go through and get this in place. And there's nothing quick about this at the moment. All right. So now if I put it in drive, my A is actually green at the moment, because my foot's on the brake. Now, with my foot on the brake in drive, if I take my foot off of the brake, my vehicle is not moving. Even though I'm in drive, the brake is held on. The moment I touch the gas, that A turns white and I start to move. Now I'm going to push this back into place, and there we go. So that's your auto hold. It will hold you in place with your foot off of the brake. But again, to work this, we need to press and hold the brake for 2 whole seconds. It turns green. Now if I shift into park, my parking brake automatically comes on because I'm using auto hold. So it's a great little feature. Works really well. And as soon as I touch the gas, the brake lets go. We'll put that back in place again. With my backup camera, I have distance markers for green, yellow, and red hash marks. Now, I'll preface this by saying, as long as you keep whatever is behind you above the red hash marks, then you'll have room to open your hatch without it bumping anything. If whatever is behind you gets below these red hash marks, don't open your hatch. It will bump what's behind you. Now we'll see here, I also have predictive lines to go with this. And then we're going to get into a couple additional features later when we're talking about the safety features, so we'll come back to this screen. On my steering wheel, I see one of the new additions this year with the adaptive cruise control. So my cruise comes on with this button here, and I can see it shows up top here. From there, I do have adaptive cruise, and I can set the distance on that for 1, 2, or 3 car lengths plus safe distance. Just as an example, 1 car length plus safe distance at 100 kilometers an hour is going to give you approximately 2.5 car lengths of space between you and the vehicle ahead of you. Set it for 3 initially if you're not familiar with adaptive cruise. As you get familiar with it, you will drop it down to 2, possibly even 1. This button is going to answer a call or hang up. This button will allow me to make an outbound call or access the voice recognition system on my phone, depending on the phone. If you have an Apple phone, this will access Siri by pressing and holding for 2 seconds, or Google Assistant on an Android phone if it is set up with it. On the left side of my wheel, I've got the volume for my radio.
Development of new variant strains.
Making it very easy to operate that. I've also got these 2 buttons here, which are going to go through my presets on the radio without me having to do anything. And then we'll see from one of the other screens up here in a moment that I can change the source of my audio. My OK button with the arrows around it, and my back button here is for this screen up top here. This is my home screen. It's going to show me a digital tachometer with my distance to empty on my fuel in the center of it. And then over to the right, I've got my safety features as well as what position the vehicle is in park in this case. If I go 1 screen to the right, I can see my audio info. Now on the bottom it says OK source. So if I press the OK button, it changes the source of my audio. So over to satellite, and then AM, back to FM. If I had anything connected through Bluetooth, that would be an option. Same for USB 1 or 2, which means Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. My next screen over to the right shows me my average fuel economy, which is running exceptionally high. Plus we see there's a couple dots here, so if I go down, it'll show me a little bit of a history here. And we're gonna see why my fuel economy is so high over on the next screen. So right away, I've got my adaptive cruise set, and there's a few more dots, and I know that we're missing a couple. So we're gonna skip a step here. We're gonna come over and we're gonna customize the display, and we're gonna customize the main menu selection. And I can see there are 3 dots that are missing: tire pressure, coolant temperature, and chassis control. So I'm gonna turn them all on for the moment. And now we're gonna go back. So the adaptive cruise will show on this screen, and you'll get a few more things that pop up here when the cruise is actually set. Our next screen down. So we notice our safety features now all jump over here instead of over here, but you are going to be more focused on what's going on around the vehicle than you are on the screen to see the visuals that go with the audibles. Our next screen down has a digital speedometer along with our radio info. So for anybody who's looking for that digital speedometer as opposed to the static one over here, you have that right there. Now, here is why our average fuel economy is running so high. We've gone 13.3 kilometers in 40 minutes. So we're gonna reset this by pressing the OK button, and I'm gonna say reset all, and then yes. And now we're gonna hit the back button, and everything is reset to start from right now. So I have average fuel economy, average speed, a trip odometer, and total time running since last reset. Next screen down will give me my tire pressure, and this will appear once I start to drive. It will show me all 4 wheels individually. Now, whether you're on this screen or a different screen really doesn't matter, because if you get a low tire pressure, it will pop up with a warning that says low tire pressure. From there, it's going to tell you which of the 4 tires is low. It's also going to tell you what the exact pressure of that tire is. When you pull into a gas station or service station or anywhere that has an air pump, leave your vehicle running, go to the tire that it says needs the air, and start putting air in. When you get to the correct pressure, your horn is going to beep to tell you to stop. If for some reason you keep putting air in or went to the wrong tire, you will hit an upper limit, at which point the horn will beep 3 times in a row. please stop putting air in the tire at that point. However, if that happens, we ask that you do one of two things. Either do the same thing to all 4 tires so that you've got the exact same tire pressure and even tread wear, or the tire that just beeped 3 times in a row at you, start letting some air back out of that tire, and when it gets back down to the right pressure, it will beep the horn once to tell you to stop. Coolant temperature shows up here, and then we have our chassis control, which will show you where your vehicle is handling large turns or large bumps, and it'll light up in different areas around the vehicle to show you that it's handling it in those areas of the vehicle, just to make sure that you've got good stability while you're driving. Then we're back over to our settings. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go into driver assistance to make sure everything is turned on. So the lane departure warning is on. Lane departure warning works at 60 kilometers an hour or higher. And while you're driving along, if you start to drift out of your lane, it's going to vibrate your steering wheel on you. It's letting you know that you are starting to come out of your lane. It's like hitting the rumble strips on the side of the highway. You can turn it off in this screen. We do recommend leaving it on. Blind spot indicators are on the inside of the vehicle on either side here, and will light up and stay lit up a dull orange as long as part of a vehicle is in your blind spot. Now, while a vehicle is in your blind spot, so let's say, for example, we've got a vehicle in the driver's side blind spot, and my indicator over here is on, and while this is on, I signal to go left. This is now going to start to flash, and then from there, it's going to beep at me a couple times inside the vehicle as well, just to let me know, have a look over my shoulder, there is something in my blind spot. Emergency brake. So we've got 2 different things here. We've got our forward emergency braking, or automatic emergency braking with forward collision warning. The forward collision warning is something you will experience. I get it a couple times a week depending on driving circumstances. So if you're driving along, for example, and the car up ahead of you is turning onto a side road, they're down to 10 or 15 kilometers an hour as they make that turn, and you're doing 50 kilometers an hour as you approach them. As soon as the radar in the front of the vehicle gets within range, it's going to beep at you and flash a warning on the screen here, telling you there is a risk of a collision unless you do something. And as that car finishes rounding the turn, nothing else happens, and you continue on as if nothing ever happened. The next step for all of that process, so if that car stopped or the car in front of you hit the brakes real hard, you're now closing that distance really fast. It'll beep at you. It'll flash a warning on the screen up here. The gas pedal is going to push back against your foot a little bit, but you're not going to feel it because it's already lifting to go to the brake. If your foot does not get over to the brake fast enough, and it does happen, the brakes will start to apply for you to help avoid or minimize an oncoming collision. With that said, the moment your foot is on the brake, that system shuts down because you are in total control of the vehicle. The other one here is rear. So that's your rear emergency braking. It's going to go with our rear sonar, which we should see in here, and that's all turned on. So my rear sonar, as I'm backing up and getting close to something, it's going to start to beep at me. So we're going to do that over here. I can see I've got a number of rogues behind me. So as we start to back up, once they get within the green range here, it'll start to slowly beep, and the closer I get, the faster the beeping will get, until I hit a point that I'm too close and it will fully apply the brakes. So we're going to remove our emergency parking brake, we're going to turn off auto hold, and we're going to start to go back. And there, it doesn't sound wonderful, but the vehicle did fully brake to avoid any type of contact with the rogue behind me, and it does that approximately 1 foot away from whatever is behind you. So that's your rear sonar and rear emergency braking. And you can see rear cross traffic is also on. That means if I'm backing out of a parking spot and there's anything coming at me from either side within approximately 2 car lengths inside the vehicle, it'll beep at me, and whichever side it's coming at me from, the blind spot indicator on that side of the vehicle will be flashing to let me know, hey, you've got something coming at you from this side of the vehicle, you need to wait a minute. We're going to back out of this screen and come down. Driver attention alert. This is a neat little function. So we talked about your lane departure warning already. Now, if you hit that lane departure warning several times in a short period of time, you will eventually get a coffee cup pop up here, and it's going to ask you underneath if it's time for a break. This is letting you know that you might not be as alert as you were starting out, which is why your lane departure keeps going off, and maybe it's time to get out, stretch your legs, have a tea or coffee, or just take a quick break so that you're ready, or you can press the OK button, ignore it, and continue on. Low temperature alert just means that when it gets below 3 degrees Celsius outside, or 3 or lower, you will get a little blue snowflake that appears, and it's just letting you know there is a risk of black ice. So we'll back out of there. We're going to come down and we're going to go to vehicle settings and then locking. By default, Nissan vehicles will automatically unlock when you turn the vehicle off, which you can see there, it's set for ignition off. We're going to set this for shift to park so that the moment I shift into park, it will automatically unlock for me. Then we're going to back out of here and back out again and go down to wipers. And I want to turn on my speed dependent. This means that when my wipers are on intermittent, and I can set the speed of it here, when I'm driving residentially, the delay will be there with the wipers. When I loop out onto a highway or a higher speed area, the delay will automatically shorten just a little bit because they are speed dependent and they recognizes that the rain's going to be hitting the windshield faster. Reverse link means that when my front wipers are on, even though the back wipers are off, as soon as I put it in reverse, the back wiper is going to make a pass across the back window, even if they're on intermittent. So I'll put them on intermittent right now, just one notch down. They are on. And now as soon as I shift into reverse, I can see that that back wiper does make a pass there. So even though the wipers are only on intermittent, it still clears that back window off for me. We're going to back out of here. Remote engine start is already on, so we're going to back right out of vehicle settings. The last thing I want to make sure is that my maintenance is set for 8,000 kilometers. That way it pops up and tells me every 8,000 kilometers or every 6 months is when your oil is due. If you're driving less than 8,000 kilometers in 6 months, you will need to maintain records of when it's due. Otherwise, this will pop up and tell you when you're due for maintenance. We're going to back right out of there, and then we are back where we started. A couple last things to go over. Our heated steering wheel is down here. So it's a beautifully leather wrapped heated steering wheel. Warms up very well. This is a new addition again this year. Really nice feature on it. The other thing I want to go over is our key fob. Now, because it's a key fob, there is a battery inside, and that battery typically lasts 2 to 4 years. Your first indication that your battery is starting to get low is you'll try and hop in, foot on the brake, press the start button, and up here it'll pop in and say incorrect key ID. That does not mean that your key is not in the vehicle. Don't panic, you still have it with you. Let the message go away and try again, and it should start. If that message keeps coming up, it means that your battery is getting weaker and it is time to switch your battery. Now, if you hit the point where your battery is dead or it just won't start, on the back of your key fob, there's a little switch that if I push it over, there is a key for the driver's side door. Once you get in, take your key fob. Use the Nissan emblem on it to push down your start button. To switch out your battery, take the key out. Get something flat into one of these two little recessed areas here, give it a twist, and that'll pop open. The battery looks like a watch battery, just a little bit bigger, and it's about $6 or $7 for the battery. The number on the battery inside your key fob is the size of your battery. Once you put the new one in, clip it back together, pop the key back in place, and you're good to go. Now, on our key fob, at the bottom, we have a panic button, or find my car in the parking lot for most people. Unlock, lock, and then to work your remote start, you're going to press lock and hold the top button for 5 seconds. And it needs to be 5 real seconds, otherwise it won't work. From there, that'll remote start your vehicle from up to 200 feet away, and it will run for up to 10 minutes. If you do not get in and engage the vehicle within 10 minutes, it will automatically turn back off. However, if you know that you're running behind and you know that you're not going to make it out within the 10 minutes, maybe 8 minutes has gone by, press the lock button, hold the top button 5 seconds again, and it will add an additional 10 minutes to the count from wherever you're at. So if it's been running for 8, it'll now run to the 18, and so on. If you decide you're not going anywhere, press and hold the top button for 2 seconds. That will turn the vehicle back off. Now, with the remote start system, you can remote start it twice without ever getting in, or once with one extension without ever getting in. But after that, in order to do it again, you do need to get in and turn the vehicle on and drive it a little bit. Usually once you get up to 30 kilometers an hour, it resets for you. From there, you can go ahead and you can do it again and everything is all reset. Congratulations again on your 2021 Nissan Kicks SV. I love this vehicle. I've driven one of these as a demo. They are a great little vehicle. Lots of room in them, lots of pep, ton of fun to drive, great on gas, and I know that you're gonna love it, but again, that is why you bought it. I hope this answers any questions that you might have about your vehicle and gets you familiar with it. But if you still have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can call, text, email, or stop into O'Regan's Nissan at 60 Baker Drive in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, even if you didn't buy it here, and we'll help you through with any questions that you might have on your Kicks. I look forward to seeing you when you're in for your regular maintenance. Please stop by and say hello, and I look forward to working with you again.